Summer 1942. The Eastern Front is ablaze. After the defeat at Kharkov and the rapid advance of the Wehrmacht to the south, the Red Army retreats once again. The Germans are pushing towards Stalingrad, the Caucasus, and oil. The USSR is once again on the brink of destruction. Amidst the chaos, retreats, and panic in the frontline zones, on July 28, 1942, Joseph Stalin signs one of the harshest documents in the history of the war, Order Number 227. The document begins with the words, "Not a step back." This was not just a slogan. It was a sentence for anyone who hesitated, retreated, or lost ground. The meaning of the order was crystal clear. Not a single meter of land could be lost without a fight. Every step backward was a crime. From now on, this could be punishable by death. What did Order Number 227 provide for? First, it prohibited retreat without an order from the command. Second, it introduced a terrible innovation: barrier troops stationed behind the battle lines. Their task was to shoot at their own troops if they retreated without permission. The third, and perhaps most terrifying point, was the creation of penal battalions. Officers and soldiers who committed crimes, from cowardice to disobeying orders, were sent there. They were doomed. They were thrown into the most dangerous areas of the front. Out of 10, only one could return. Stalin was in despair. In his order, he directly blamed cowards and panic-mongers for the army's defeats. He wrote that the retreats were not due to the weakness of the weapons, but to the psychological instability of the soldiers. In fact, the blame for strategic mistakes was shifted onto the shoulders of the soldiers. The order was received differently at the front. Some saw in it the iron will of the leader. Others saw cruelty and doom. But the essence remained. Retreating became deadly dangerous, and not only from the enemy, but also from their own. Witnesses recalled how the barrier troops actually fired on those retreating. Sometimes these were isolated cases, sometimes entire groups were shot. Service in the barrier troops was no picnic either. Their fighters, often from the NKvd, were hated by the soldiers and often died in battle themselves. Order Number 227 caused fear, but at the same time it instilled discipline. It became a psychological turning point after which the front line began to stabilize. Stalingrad was not yet saved, but the chaotic retreat had stopped. How many people died because of Order Number 227? There are no exact figures. The archives are still partially classified. According to estimates, more than 400,000 people passed through the penal battalions, of whom at least half died. The barrier troops operated until 1944 and, according to their reports, detained about 150,000 retreating soldiers. Historians still argue whether this order saved the country or was a manifestation of despair and cruelty. Some argue that without Number 227, the USSR might not have survived. Others say it was a meat grinder, where people were broken and thrown to their deaths to save generals from responsibility. But everyone agrees on one thing. Order Number 227 was a turning point in the history of the Great Patriotic War. It was the line between chaos and discipline, between disgrace and Stalingrad, between defeat and a future where the word victory became possible.